Well, good day YouTube and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Excuse me. Today you have the Rhino and we're going to drink a beer. We're going to drink a beer that was picked up at the Amnesia Rock Fest in Montebello, Quebec by my good buddy Randwulf. So thank you very much, Randwulf. He picked me up 12 beers. I owe him $50 for the 12 beers. Not a bad pickup. I mean, on average, it's about $4.10 a beer. I'm okay with that. This was a $3 beer. It's from Farnham Ale and Lager. It's the English Brown Ale at 4.5% alcohol. You'll see up here at 26, which they use as part of their, at least in the beer awards, I always see the number as part of the label. When I check these in and when I go to the... Excuse me. When I check these in and I go to the... yeah, I won't be cutting that out, just, you know. When I check these in and I go to the Untapped page and then the breweries page just to read some more about the brewery after I'm done reviewing these, I'll see if that's actually labeling info or if it's just something that the Canadian Brewing Awards and stuff is used as labeling info. But intriguingly enough, that number corresponds with the IBU of the beer, which I think is immensely cool. And I mean, it might not do it for every beer. It might have been a fucking, excuse my language if you're new to the channel. It may have been a coincidence that the 3 beers in the last 2 days I've reviewed by this brewery have all had the same number as their IBU. I mean, I have 3 other beers from them, and I just noticed this on these beers I've been picking up, so I don't know for sure if it corresponds with the other 3 beers that he picked up for me by them, but I'll check. But I think that's pretty funny. So, that's more ruby red than brown, but I mean, most brown ales usually are. They're more like an amber hue than anything else. You don't find all that many mahogany brown ales unless you're looking at a nut brown lately that I've noticed. Off-white, almost mocha-like head. Very thin bubbles. A little bit of a snap, crackle, pop. You can see... Oh, well, this is not the good cell phone. This is the old cell phone I had. Well, not the old cell phone, but this was my second smartphone. I'm Irish. I keep things. I use you as a backup camera. So this one doesn't have as good an HD camera as the other one. I know HD is HD, but I find the more megapixels in the camera, just the clearer the image that comes out of that HD camera. Anyway, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are a lot of tunnels forming in this. A lot of big tunnels. Yeah, it looks good. Visually, it's very appealing, especially in like the stemless grand service glass. Scent. I had a beer reviewer just a few days ago come on my channel and be like, You have copied my format, sir. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you talk about the beer, you open the beer, you pour the beer, you talk about its color, then its scent, then its taste, then your final conclusions. That's what I do. This guy's been around for about a year and a half. And I'm like, well, first off, I have 3,700 videos of me doing this the exact same way that have started since fucking 6 years ago. And second, there's only one real format out there. I mean, we all switch around how we might do it, and then you might have pops, you know, like the guys that have the page breaks between each thing. Scent! With the psh and the pouring and all that, and then appearance, bah! But it's all the same. It's a fucking beer. And we're just beer reviewers on YouTube. We're nobodies. We're talking about beer on YouTube. Just talk about the beer and shut the fuck up. Get back to the scent. Okay, a little bit of roastiness out of the glass. And a little bit of malt and molasses, like a malty sweetness and a molasses sweetness out of the can. I'll give you, does it smell English? Yeah, sure. Is it the best smelling brown I've ever smelt? No. However, their Pilsner was exact to a fucking German Pilsner. Their Hefeweizen, which I also reviewed, not exact to a German Hef, but pretty close. So I'm very intrigued by what this brewery has to do. Let's cheers and let's drink. Cheerio, pinky up. Now, for anyone that's not new to the page, new to the channel, you know that I'm a malt maniac. I love my malts. I'm also kind of a yeast beast, but I'm not a hophead unless it's specific hops. There are specific hops that get me all excited and wet and wild, make me tent, all that sort of thing. There are hops that do it, but I'm not a hophead per se. I'm more a malt maniac and a yeast beast. I'm more English and European. I guess English and Irish for my beers. I'm more like stouts, porters, milds, brown ales. I am a little bit of a wheat guy as well, and sours. Those are my styles of choice, and because of sours, Berliner Weisses, Gozas, that sort of thing. Then you get into the big hoppy things, and yeah, there are ones I love. There are. But they're not as big for me. I don't care for them as much. I like session beers. I like beers I could drink all day, every day. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is this is a great brown ale. It's a great English brown ale. Is it the most tasty thing on the first sip? No, but the flavor builds on the back of the palate. So I take my sip. I get a little bit of caramel, a little bit of molasses, and a slightly dulled, almost soda water-like taste that just kind of clears the palate, which is good because it clears the palate for this emanation of this dirty earth, like a mud pie and roast flavor to come back up. So yeah, like a little bit of sand in your mouth, a little bit of roasted malts, a little like charred wood, all of that coming back up, and then when that's done, you're just left with a little bit of char on the very back of the palate, which makes you want to drink more. This makes it a very Moorish beer, and I've found that any good English style beer should be Moorish, and that is that it shouldn't be all that flavorful. It shouldn't be. It should have flavor. It could even have a lot of flavor, but it should have flavor that isn't overpowering, and then it should have this little tinge in the back that makes you want more. And that's what this does, because when I first sip it, it completely obliterates that taste in the back of your palate, that charred wood taste, and it leaves you with this beautiful flavor sensation, and then it slowly fades back into that taste, which makes you want to take another sip, which then obliterates that taste and gives you this beautiful malted taste that then fades into that taste that makes you want to drink more. So it's Moorish, and it doesn't build. It's not like when I said it builds on the back of your palate, I meant that sometimes I say things that I have to reiterate what I actually meant because of the lingo of beer itself. My beard just nodded. There we go. Oh god, it's really knotted. I'm gonna have to work that out in the morning. Oh god. There we go. Rip some out. Anyway, when I said it built on the back of the palate, what I meant is the layers of flavor come in the back, not the other way of thinking. It builds on the back of the palate, which is each sip it gets more aggressive, more profound. It doesn't do that. It just builds in the fact that that's where the majority of the flavor comes out. But because of the way this works, this is pretty much the perfect sessionable English ale made in Quebec. At 26 IBU, it's not much more bitter than, say, a 12% 12 IBU macro beer. I mean, there are some macro pilsners that are more hoppy than this guy. Out of 10 on this? Oh, I'd give it an 8.25. The Farnham Brown, I really, really enjoy this. Thank you very much, Randy, for picking this up. I can't wait for next year's Amnesiac Rockfest. Hopefully I can get him to pick me up some more stuff. And before I get, you just get free, you're just a shill, you get free beer. I pay my buddies for picking this stuff up. They're there. They're picking up their own alcohol, so they pick some stuff up for me. They bring it back. They tell me what I owe them. I pay them. And I really appreciate him for doing that. So thank you very much, Randy. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Farnham, for making this beer. It's going to be one of the few I chug on camera because I don't normally chug on camera anymore. Cheers. Bye, guys.